So thank you all for being here today, and thank you all who are watching. As Sanjay said, my name is Raquel Garcia-Garcia, and I did my PhD back in Spain, and my PhD, my dissertation revolved around the causes and consequences of internationalization, and I had a special focus on the effect of rapid internationalization on the performance of firms. So the companies have to choose the right speed of internationalization, kind of like a runner chooses their speed in a race. So for example, if you go too slow, then you will not win the race. But if you go too fast, then you may trip and you end up hurting yourself and hurting your performance. So, depending on your characteristics, you should try to find the right speed for you so that you can reach the finish line successfully. But first of all, we should start by defining what speed of internationalization is. So it can be understood in two different ways. It can be understood as the speed at which a firm starts internationalizing. So that's the difference between the year of the first international venture and the year of establishment of the firm. Or it can be the post-internationalization speed. So that would be the speed at which you go once you are already a multinational. Traditional models, they support the motto slowly but surely. That is, you should start internationalizing once you have gathered experience at home. You should increase your commitment in the host country. So for example, you start by exporting, and once you have done that, then you can go to a higher commitment, for example, by establishing a physical presence in the host country. You shouldn't try to invest in many locations at the same time or in a short time span. And you should increase your distance, first going to neighboring countries and then going to more distant ones. Not only in terms of geographic distance, but also in terms of cultural distance. For example, if you are a UK company, then you can start going to Ireland, or if we are talking about cultural distance, going to the US, or to France or Spain, and then move to, for example, China or Japan, which would be more distant countries. Tim Hortons is an example of this kind of model of internationalization. I don't know if you know the brand, but it's a restaurant chain that sells coffee and donuts. It's kind of like the Canadian Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. So it was established in 1962 by Tim Horton, who was a National Hockey League legend, and he started the first store in Hamilton in Canada. And it was not until more than 20 years later that they moved to the US. So they crossed the border more than 20 years later. And now they are opening their first store in the UK, in Glasgow, so if you want to check it out, you can go. And they have announced new stores coming up in Mexico, Philippines, and Spain. But these traditional models now are being challenged by a new kind of model which follows the motto, go fast or go home. So some companies are speeding up their internationalization, and they are doing so successfully. And I will show now 3 examples that come out of a book called Emerging Markets Rule, which was co-authored by Professor Esteban García-Canal and Professor Mauro Guillem. So the first one is América Móvil. Here we have the founder, Carlos Slim. We have BYD Co. Wang Changfu is the man leading the company, and Anu Acharya from Osimon Biosolutions. So these companies, they have sped up their internationalization, and they have done so successfully. And we can see now their internationalization. For example, América Móvil, it's present in America and Eastern Europe, and the internationalization of this firm has made Carlos Slim one of the wealthiest men alive, according to Forbes. BYD Co. The company, it sells rechargeable batteries, and now they have also expanded into the manufacturing of electric vehicles. And this company was founded in 1995, and by 28 they were already selling more than 500 million batteries all around the world. So they are present in the US, they are present in South America, in Europe, in Africa, and Asia Pacific, so all over the world. And then we have Osimon Biosolutions. This is one of the leading bio-IT companies, and they are present in the US, they are present in Europe, well, obviously India because it's their home country, and Asia Pacific as well. So we see that you can go fast and you can still succeed. But that leads us to posing the following question. Is there an optimum speed of internationalization, or can you speed ad infinitum? We tested this question on a sample of 120 Spanish firms which were listed in the Madrid Stock Exchange. We have here a distribution by industry, where we can see the number of observations by industry and how many of them go at a low speed, a moderate speed, and a high speed. We can see that energy and water, transport and telecommunications, construction services, and food and drink, they tend to go quite fast. And here we have the answer to our question. So in terms of short-term performance, that is accounting performance, like for example return on assets, we find that there is no significant relationship between speed of internationalization and performance. However, in terms of long-term performance, that is the market performance of the firm, there is an inverted U-shape, meaning that we have an optimum speed. Which are the causes for the positive slope? So first of all, if you go fast, then that alleviates knowledge depreciation. If you have just learned something and it's fresh, then you can better apply your knowledge. And it also allows companies to search for new knowledge to complement and upgrade their resources and capabilities. However, there are some limits to the speed of internationalization, and in that sense, there is the existence of time compression diseconomies. So doing too much in too little time can lead to a negative impact on performance because you are bound to make more mistakes. And also managers have a limited absorptive capacity. So the thing is that if you have to search for new knowledge and integrate that knowledge and then apply it for business purposes, then if you do it too fast, then you can also make mistakes. Are there any factors affecting that optimum? So we looked for two knowledge factors. The first one is technological knowledge, so the research of the firm. And we see that if you have technological knowledge, then that accentuates, that deepens the inverted U shape. And why is that? Because having technological knowledge has pros. First of all, if you go fast and you have that technological knowledge, then there's a reduction of the risk that it becomes obsolete before you transfer it to the new host country. And it's also cost efficient because you can spread your R&D costs over a larger sales base. However, it also has some cons because if you have to adapt your technology to the new country, that takes time. And if you don't adapt it, then there is bound to be a worse fit between your technology and the host country. Another knowledge factor that we analyze is the diversity of prior international experience, and that variable flattens the inverted U shape. And why is that? Because having a very diverse international experience means that it's less probable that you gain access to additional valuable knowledge in the host countries. But there's a big pro, and it's that if you have a very diverse international experience, then you can benefit from that in the new countries that you access. Because if a problem appears, then you can go and say, oh, I had a similar problem in that country and I solved it this way or that way. So that helps the multinational make decisions faster. How can managers benefit from these results, or at least how do we expect managers to benefit from these results? First of all, they may see that they cannot speed the internationalization of their companies ad infinitum because they are bound to experience a negative impact on their returns. So sky is not the limit in terms of the speed of internationalization you can reach. Also, that there are knowledge-based factors that can support or hinder your success in expanding rapidly. In addition, that multinationals from the old Europe, they can also benefit from a rapid foreign expansion. So if you looked at the examples that I proposed, we had America Mobile from Mexico, we had Osimon Biosolutions from India, and we had BYD from China, but we didn't have any US company or any Canadian company or German company, UK company. So this may serve managers to think, well, I can go faster and I can still succeed. And they should also account for the characteristics of their firm before finding the right speed. So the right speed for one company may not be the right speed for another company. And I was planning on finishing here, but I thought maybe I can give a glimpse into the future. And what does the future hold? I think we can discuss a little about the deglobalization trend we are suffering from. So this is a cover from The Economist. It comes a little around 10 years ago, and it said, tired of globalization, but in need of much more of it. So people were getting kind of fed up with the concept of globalization and no borders, but the thing is that businesses still were in much need of that. A few years later, we have this cover. It's kind of anticipating that globalization is a sunken ship. So the idea of no borders is bound to be finalized at some point in time. And these are two recent covers from The Economist, a triad split and the new nationalism. So what's going to happen if we have like more borders? What's going to happen in terms of speed of internationalization? Will that slow the speed at which companies go abroad? Will that mean more uncertainty for companies? I think that's going to be the next big question. Thank you very much.